my yard, and I also got told to get rid of the dog and get a cat. The first step is finding out how your dog uses the space, where they play, where they lay down, where they eliminate, where they walk, what favorite views they have. Dogs like to be elevated, they like to look out, so it's real important to know how your dog or dogs use the space.
After all this, Fran then designs a plan that is both pleasing and practical. She offers easy solutions to common problems that occur when sharing space with pets.
Single trees or single bushes in the landscape are vulnerable to damage when the dogs start to play, so do planting beds. That's more sustainable anyway. It's better gardening, really, to put your plants in a group. If at all possible, get your dogs off the grass when they eliminate, onto shredded wood or pea rock or some other place.
Owners often complain of dirty paws tracking mud into the house. Fran suggests creating an area between the yard and the doorway where the dogs can wipe their feet, so to speak.
Barb had mentioned that this is the office or the living room, and down below is the playroom. So are the dogs expected to mind their manners up here and then let loose down below? Do they know that?
Well, they can learn it, and that's where using landscape elements to back up your training is important. A dog owner can help the dog understand what's wanted by using stonework. Stone is like linoleum or bare wood floors. Boulders and trees and shrubs are like furniture. The dog can learn that when he or she is in an arrangement like this, that the same good manners are expected that are expected in the house.
And then there's the digging. A dog's got to dig, doesn't he?
It's harder to work with digging as an issue than it is to work with elimination. For many people want to train their dog to eliminate in one spot. That works because dogs are hardwired to not eliminate in the same place that they sleep and play and eat. Digging doesn't work like that. So the way you work with your dog if you want to lessen digging is to have a command like no dig. And then the minute they stop digging, you shove a cookie in their mouth or praise them or whatever training works.
Now, for pets with sniffing snouts and hearty appetites, homeowners must be careful with plants they pick. Some favorite landscape plants, like rhododendrons, are toxic and will make the dog sick. But Fran says you shouldn't have to eliminate the plant. She says this is where homeowners must pay particular attention to obedience training.
What I try to work with homeowners on now is to not eat the vegetation in the backyard. And kind of the example I use is if you've trained your dog not to eat the furniture, if the dog can't eat the couch or the coffee table, then don't let your dog eat the shrubbery, you know, and then you won't have to worry really about what's toxic and what's not.
Right, very good point.
Behavior management, obedience training, those are all critical aspects to people's relationships with their dogs.
If you have beautiful potted hydrangea or azalea and would like to have more plants, well, there's no reason you have to go out and spend the money, because I'm going to show you how you can actually grow new plants by taking stem cuttings from the old. Once the plant is finished blooming, then you're ready to take a cutting. Now, you'll want to remove about 4 to 6 inches of a green stem. And make sure you cut the stem on a 45-degree angle just below the leaf node. Now, half the stem cutting is going to be under soil, so you want to make sure you remove all the foliage, but you don't want to tear it off, otherwise you might damage the bark. So go ahead and use some scissors or your clippers and just clip off the leaves. Now you want to take the stem and dip it into a rooting hormone. Then place it into a small pot, place it down about 3 inches. At this point, it's important that you keep your new stem cutting moist at all times until it's completely rooted, and in some cases that may take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So what I like to do, I put it in a bag. That way they remain moist, but keep in mind you may have to check it every day and you may have to let them breathe for about 15 minutes. Now, in no time your plants will root and you can go ahead and pot them up, and hopefully within a year you may be enjoying some beautiful blooms. And keep in mind, this same technique will work on the same plants growing outdoors.
Still ahead, create your own poetry with these garden stones. For those of you who would like a beautiful garden but don't want all the work, perennials might just be the answer. These are plants that bloom year after year. And in my left hand, I have what I think are the top 10 easiest perennials to grow. These plants were selected based on their disease resistance, their hardiness, and their low maintenance. So get ready, I'm going to show you the toughest of the bunch. The first perennial that won't let you down is the old-fashioned iris. I'm sure most of you had grandparents who had these growing in their backyard, and not much has changed since then. All the flowers basically look alike, and they come in a wide array of color. Some are bearded, some are not. The blooming period is about 2 weeks in the spring, but not to worry because the lance-shaped foliage is excellent filler for the garden all summer long. Now, planting your iris is different than planting most perennials. It's very important that this fleshy bulb here, called the rhizome, is slightly above the soil surface. So dig your hole, hold the plant, bring in the soil. You may have to toggle the plant back and forth, making sure that the tip of the rhizome is exposed. The peony is another classic late spring blooming perennial with large masses of petals in shades of pink, white, and red. This is a perfect perennial for the cutting garden. They grow best in full sun with well-drained soil and may take a couple of years to get good blooms. One of America's most popular perennials for the shade garden is the hosta. These are nearly impossible to kill. They come in a wide variety of color, shape, size, and texture. Some are a couple of inches tall, while others can grow upwards of 3 feet. They're excellent for borders and lining pathways, and here's a good tip. If the leaves are blue-green, that means they won't be able to tolerate as much sunshine. However, if they're yellow-green in color, they can take on more sun. Astilbe is another perennial made for the shade. The flowers are soft, feathery plumes in colors of white, pinks, and reds. They bloom in mid to late summer. The same rules apply when planting astilbe as with other perennials in containers. First of all, they all need well-drained soil. And because once we plant these, we don't want to disturb their root system, it's important to enrich the soil before you get started. Of course, using the 3 magic ingredients. That's peat moss, cow manure, and compost. Once you've done that, dig your hole and gently remove the flower from its container. It's important to try to tease apart. That may mean tearing the root system at the bottom. That's going to allow the roots to spread. Drop it in the hole, making sure you plant it as deeply as it was in the container. Cover it up. Keep it watered and fertilized about once a month and you should be set. Now, the best time to plant your perennials is in the spring, but if you keep your eyes open, in the fall you can get some great bargains and they'll transplant just as well. The 5th perennial on my list is Monarda, also called bee balm. The bees love buzzing around the pom-pom-like flowers which bloom in the summer through early fall. This is a great plant for sun or part shade, and it's deer resistant. One look at the flower from the bleeding heart and you can see where this perennial gets its name. Bleeding hearts are an excellent candidate for the shaded garden or even a little bit of sunshine. The flowers line up on a single stem which gracefully arch over the foliage. Now, typically it blooms in the spring, but if you get the fern leaf variety, you can get blooms all summer long. The flowers are pink, white, and red, and this plant will grow to the height of about 1 to 3 feet. Daylilies are one of the hardiest perennials you can grow. They have large trumpet-shaped blooms that come in many colors. They bloom all summer long, but each flower only lasts 1 day. This is a great perennial for hot, dry conditions. Now, one of my favorite perennials is the delphinium, and although these don't look like much now, when they bloom early summer, the stately, tall spikes of color typically in bloom look fabulous. And a nice tip about these, if you deadhead the blooms shortly after they fade, you'll get a second flush of color late summer. Yarrow and purple coneflower are my last 2 perennial picks. Both are excellent for hot, dry, and poor soil conditions. So there you have it, my top 10 easy-to-grow perennials. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you're not going to see some quick results. In fact, the first year, perennials sleep. The second year, they creep. And the third year, they leap with color. So be patient. There's more to come, including an eco-friendly golf course where wildlife is the name of the game. You could say that golfing at this course has gone to the birds, the fish, turtles, fox, and coyotes too. But then again, that's the point. Golf courses like TPC Michigan are working hard to create an environment that is not only great for the golfers, but right on par with the environment. And later, poetic justice in the garden. Poor petunias. They get no respect. Known to garden snobs as the gas station plants because that's about the only thing that will grow there. Ha, which is the reason why everybody wants to grow them now, because they're so easy to take care of. And now they come in so many different colors and varieties, how can you pass them by? One of the hottest varieties of petunias is the Wave series. They come in hot pink, purple, and some pastel colors. They're great spilling out of baskets, window boxes, and even containers. Another new variety is the Million Bells petunia, known for its tiny 1-inch blooms which smother the vines even without deadheading. Now, when it comes to color, petunias can't be beat. You can almost find every color of the rainbow. They come in solids, stripes, and some even have vivid veins. It doesn't take a lot to grow good-looking petunias. They prefer full sunshine. They're not real picky about their soil. They just don't like wet feet. So when you water them, try to water from below, but don't overdo it. They almost like it on the drier side. Now, with the older varieties, it's real important that you deadhead to encourage new blooms. Deadheading simply means cutting off the old dead flowers as they fade. Also, if your petunias get long and leggy in the middle of the summer, feel free to give them a little haircut. What you want to do is come back and trim them about 1/3 to 2/3. It may seem severe, but they'll come back blooming beautifully. You could say that golfing at this course has gone to the birds, the fish, turtles, fox, and coyotes too. But then again, that's the point. Golf courses like TPC Michigan are working hard to create an environment that is not only great for the golfers, but right on par with the environment. It's a place where birdies fly in more ways than one. Golfers and naturalists teeing off together for one purpose: to create a safe environment for Mother Nature. For years, lush-looking greens have meant the use of lots of pesticides and fertilizers, chasing away the birds and the animals. But this course is different. They've developed an environmentally safe solution that is providing new homes for wildlife.
It's like that old movie, you build it and they will come. We've declared to the wildlife that you have a sanctuary here, you have a home here, so come on here, and I think that they do.
The land for this beautiful golf course was provided by Ford just outside their headquarters near Detroit. It's hard to believe that 15 years ago, this area was nothing more than a dump site.
This used to be a pretty neglected floodplain of the Rouge River, a very convenient place for way too many years for people to throw away things they didn't want anymore. So what we really did was restored something in terms of habitat, wildlife homes that, you know, years ago used to be that kind of place, and once again is today.
To begin the restoration process, TPC brought in Jack Nicholas to help with the design of the course.
In other words, if those trees are sitting here.
Audubon International also offered direction and guidelines and eventually certified the course as a wildlife sanctuary. Today, it's Superintendent John Kulka's job to maintain this eco-friendly course. While players are trying to hit the green, John's job is to think green. Being respectful to wildlife is only half the recipe for success. Conserving water goes hand in hand with protecting the environment.
Actually, we go out every day in the morning and pull a core sample out just like this to determine whether we're going to water that evening.
You go out every day around the entire golf course?
Sure.
And what does this tell you?
As you can see right there, that core is pretty wet, so we wouldn't water this evening.
Oh, that's a great tip, because a lot of people have their water on timers.
Exactly.
So they get water whether they need it or not.
Sure enough, and one thing they could do is actually take a pencil, stick it into the ground, pull the pencil out, and if that outer edge of that pencil is moist, turn their timer off.
It's that simple.
Exactly.
Even though there are days when the greens need a little extra care, John has found that he has reduced watering by 30% overall.
Now, what do you guys do for pesticides?
Well, I think pesticides get a bad name when it comes to golf courses. I think a lot of people out there believe that we use too many pesticides, when actually we use pesticides when we need them. We'll go out and we'll scout the areas If we happen to see a symptom of a disease, or maybe we see insect out there, then we'll consider using a pesticide. But we usually never put out a preventative application. It's always because we see something, or again.
And you wait until it becomes a problem.
Sure enough,
so
exactly.
It's not like one grub we spray, you wait until you've got an infestation.
Right.
And the same philosophy is used when it comes to fertilizing. Samples of the soil are taken to determine what exact nutrients the turf needs. And whenever possible, the grass clippings are left to decompose naturally on the turf.
Looks like I was saved by the buffer zone.
Looks that way, but these buffer zones actually help us keep our water clean. They serve as a catcher's mitt and actually will catch nutrients before they run off into the water source.
And you know, people who live by streams, lakes at home, this is a practice that they should probably participate in.
It's a great environmentally friendly practice.
What kind of plants do you use?
Here we use a lot of native plants to Michigan. In terms of viburnums is one that we actually use here.
Okay, we're going to plant one here.
Sure.
This is a viburnum, and I notice that you have a lot of grasses as well around the area.
Sure, we use grasses here and basically let them come up to about 6 to 8 inches and don't mow them.
Oh, I like that. So we just pop this in?
Sure.
And why viburnums?
They're native, and these viburnums will create a little berry that actually help wildlife.
Oh, so it's full circle.
Exactly.
And it comes full circle for the members too, building their appreciation for the environment that this course is developing.
Sometimes it's probably a little bit hard for the membership to get used to the fact that you shouldn't go in there to get your ball, but because we all hit them in places we're not supposed to. But if we can just continue to have emphasis on it, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have.
So as you can see, at this course, everyone wins.
It's in the hole! I'm not kidding! Coming up, personalize your garden with easy-to-make poetry stones.
Come to HGTV's Green Street Saturday starting at noon and get a full hour of fresh-picked ideas and information designed to make your dream garden a reality. HGTV's Green Street Saturday starting at noon on HGTV. Brought to you by the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help.
Girl power activated. Let's go. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll call you from the car. Dial Laura.
Technology to go. Chevy Trailblazer, an American Revolution.
The forecast, plenty of sunshine through today with seasonal.
Hello? Oh, hey!
Smoke and soot from even a small fire can cause odors in your home for years to come. Unless you call the cleanup experts at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Well, I think his muscles are growing, but protein doesn't just grow on trees around here.
Well, she's not shy about eating, but, fiber, it just isn't her thing.
She's growing like a weed. Oh, I hope her bones are getting enough calcium.
Concerned about your children's growth? Introducing Tiger Power Cereal with the protein, fiber, and calcium growing children need. In a lightly sweet, whole grain cereal.
She loves it.
Whole grain Tiger Power from Kellogg's.
Great for growth.
Your friends will smell the freshness, but they won't find the air freshener. Renews It Airlets, the discreet air freshener that looks and works just like an outlet. Renews It Airlets, the scent is all you notice. From Renews It.
When your child has asthma, it's always on your mind. There's a different kind of asthma controller. Singulair. Singulair can help prevent your child's asthma symptoms before they start. It's available in once-a-day chewable tablets and oral granules. It's for children as young as 12 months. Singulair is not a steroid, and the same Singulair is also approved to help relieve a broad range of seasonal allergy symptoms. Singulair will not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms. Your child should continue taking their other asthma medicines unless their doctor tells you to stop or change the dose. If asthma symptoms get worse, contact your child's doctor at once. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Ask your child's doctor about once-a-day Singulair and help prevent your child's asthma symptoms before they start.
Interior design ideas are just a click away at HGTV.com.
Poetry stones are the newest, latest craze in the garden. It's a great way of personalizing your garden, either with a handprint, plant markers, or you can take your favorite saying and plant it in stone. The Poetry Stone Kit can be picked up at garden centers, maybe even craft stores. And here's what you get in the kit. A couple of molds. You'll get these letters that act as stencils that can be reused. A pre-measured bag of concrete that's good for 1 stone. You'll get mortar dye colors and a trowel. Begin by laying a piece of plastic on a flat surface. Place the mold on top of the plastic. Next, add about a cup of water to the bag of concrete and knead it until all the lumps are gone. And you'll want to do this quickly because keep in mind this is fast-setting concrete. It'll start off soupy, but quickly will turn to a brownie dough texture. That's the time that you want to add about a tablespoon of tint to the concrete. Knead some more. Then pour the mixture into a mold, level with a trowel, and let the concrete set up a bit. Then press in the letters one at a time and remove quickly. Finally, remove the frame. Now at this point, you want to let the stone sit for about 48 hours. This will give it time to cure and harden up. Then take it to the garden. You'll want to bury it so that the top of the stone is flush with the garden surface. There you have it, poetry blooming in your garden. Well, it looks like we're out of time for today. Remember, if you'd like more information on creating a pet-friendly garden, or how about details for making those unique poetry stones, just click on my website. I'm Rebecca Coles. Until next time, keep those hands dirty.